Yeah, it seems
Good
like
content.
that circle is doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So Brittany Renner was on there. They had a bunch of discussion. The main headline from the discussion was her body count. So we're gonna play a little clip from the body count conversation, and then we're gonna have our own conversation. And then there's a video reacting to that we want to play as well.
I've had sex with 35 guys. Okay.
Whew. Oh Lord.
Impressive isn't the word. So if I'm judged for
Anybody else need a shot of this?
if I'm judged for having great taste,
We are in the bar, so help yourself. We got this for the next hour. Woo.
I've had sex with 30.
All right, so there she's talking about her body count, obviously, and then she actually talks about her sexual health in a later clip. So we're gonna play that right now.
Actually recall it, pinpoint it perfect for you. There was a video that I did in my car where I was talking about how I had sex with, was it 3 men in a day?
Yes.
And then I ended up getting a yeast infection.
Yes.
I came out pretty unscathed for just a yeast infection. But as I got older, I wanted one.
But did you think?
Did I think about the ramifications
Yes.
of telling people that I had sex with multiple men? Yes, I don't care. It's the truth. If you don't see me as a potential dating person, then great, one less heart to break. Leave me alone, and I'm gonna continue to live my truth. Actually,
Oh boy.
I'm screaming.
Stop.
I don't like that shit.
For sure, bro.
I don't like that shit.
Cody.
I'm weak. Ooh wee. That's interesting.
Is it?
What you mean? Is it?
Is it interesting? I'm just asking a question. That's all I'm asking.
I think it is.
3 guys in one day? Yeah, I guess that's interesting. All right, so let's here, so we can preface the conversation, okay? Because we obviously everybody has their own thoughts.
Everybody got
about
their
that.
own thoughts about
Everybody
it.
has their own thoughts about it.
And we're gonna get into it.
We're gonna get into it. But I want to play this clip because it has polarizing ideas, okay?
On each side.
On each side. And I think it's fair for us to have a conversation on each side, okay?
You dated black guy.
love black guys.
Oh, that's definitely the wrong clip.
Mm-hmm.
Where we at? I think it was Facebook where I got that clip. Here it is.
They square and pursuing their business and walking in and what they supposed to. Them is not asking your body count.
So you saying body count doesn't matter to a real man?
Body count matters to dudes who not in the count. Only a dude who not on his square is worried about community.
I feel like people just say stuff just to get a little, a wow factor.
Yeah.
Like, let's be realistic.
It's called pandering.
Let's be realistic, because as a man or a woman, I feel like you should be very intentional with who you're choosing to be with and who you are choosing to give yourself to.
Right.
The problem is people that push a narrative where it's okay for you to have slept with a whole bunch of people. I still want you. I'm not worried about that. They worried about the wrong thing. No, you're not worried about the right thing.
And the lies that he just told are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes who just want to have sex with you, they don't care about your sexual history because they're just using you for fun. But a guy who is looking for a wife to build a family with, he most definitely cares about your sexual history. Most men want a woman on their arms that a man wants, but they can never touch.
Right.
You can live freely. You can have as many sexual partners as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Men are not telling you don't have a bunch of sexual partners. They're saying, if you want to be my wife, I don't want you to have.
They square and pursuing their.
Yeah, obviously the clip is probably gonna finish out by saying, if you want to be my wife, don't have multiple partners. So
my answer to that though is the whole, if you want to be my wife, you can't have slept around or have had multiple partners. Baby, I don't think there's not many men on this earth that have a wife that didn't have multiple partners. Let's just be honest. It's more so about, I said it in previous episode, it's more so about the reputation. So that's why I said women can date, but you see, like, most women date privately. We don't really post who we're dating.
Mm-hmm.
We honestly, a lot of people, we don't even post who our relationship is. Like, a lot of people don't, like, I've had a couple of serious relationships, but there's only like maybe 2 that actually made it to social media. You know what I mean? Because again, it's taboo for women to be linked to multiple people. Mm-hmm. Even though as an adult, like, you're going to have to date. If you're a person who is sexually active, I don't believe that you're in these 1, 2, 3 year relationships and not having sex with the person that you with. Whether that's 5 people, 6 people, like, like, mm-hmm. If somebody got 5 ex-boyfriends, there go 5 bodies right there. Like, for the most part, like, come on now. Am I wrong? It's about what's known. It's not about what's actually factual, because as long as people don't know, even with women, a lot of women can forgive cheating if don't nobody else know.
If it's in private.
If it's private.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I think I don't want to, because you can get into the vein of saying, like, generalize most, who can, right? I think.
But we're 35, so you.
No,
I know. You know what I mean? Let's be real. Let's be realistic.
That's what I'm trying to preface it with. I think when you get into this age, if we're trying to say, like, if we're trying to minimize it to this age, you have to be open to the idea that your partner has a sexual history at 35, 36, 37, right? Same way that we talk about, obviously that the dating pool starts to shrink. Obviously, kids or step parents or blended families, that conversation is more prevalent because you're at an older age. Mm. But as far as the body count goes, I think it really just depends on your values. I think if we're talking about in general with men, yes, it is your reputation, because we always say that your spouse precedes you, that when your spouse is with you, that they are an extension of who you are, or they're a representation of who you are. And when you're raising a family, for men, most men are very legacy driven. And when we're thinking legacy driven, we're thinking about who can I marry, have children with, and raise a family with. So I agree to a certain extent to what he's saying, but I also agree to a certain extent that at a certain age, body count is not even a question. When I dated, I didn't really ask body count. I was more concerned with how you carried yourself. Mm-hmm. So, but in some instances, how you carry yourself could also line up with your body count. There are some women that I saw that were a little bit loose, and those are the women that just didn't line up with my values.
And too, like, I think people, when you say values, like, not everybody sees sex as this sacred act, and it comes down to if your values align or not, because some people look at sex as like it's a natural body function. It's not people, like they're not looking at it like this spiritual connection, and how people be like, oh, there's a soul type. Like, some people don't believe in all of that. Mm-hmm. So, like, and that's why I don't judge, because everybody don't believe the way that I believe or look at sex the way that I look at it or whatever. Like, honestly, do you count? Like, was you counting? Like, is that like a thing where you be like, well, I've only had sex with so-and-so? Like,
at a certain point I did. But then I stopped, because it was like, again, we were talking about, that's why I said values, right? So in order for my values to line up, values to me is like also what you practice doing. So when we're talking about body count, like, for instance, like with Brittany Renner, like the 3 guys in one day, like, that shows your values. Like, at that point, maybe, and again, people can change and people can mature, but at that point in your life, either you looked at sex as being fun, you looked at sex as being just something to do, maybe you were bored, maybe like she said, oh, I have good taste. So maybe, like, in her vein, like, the men she slept with showed, like, her value. And I think sometimes we do use sex as a way to validate who we are, or validate.
I've seen that. I've seen like, oh, I could pull this dude. Like, who you could pull to me don't really say.
No, it
you know what I mean? A lot to me personally.
No. And for men, it's not, we don't look at it that way, because low-bearing fruit, just because I slept with you doesn't mean that you're and when I'm saying valuable in this
I just
context,
feel like as women, I personally feel like it's easier for women to get it than men.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, it's kind of like, as a woman, it's not that hard to get somebody to sleep with you.
Absolutely. But for her, especially if you're an influencer, you thinking you getting because she slept with Colin Kaepernick, she slept with some celebrity. So for her, that makes and I think women, not all women, but men too, who you slept with doesn't mean that you're automatically in that circle of people now. Just because you sleep with the entertainer doesn't mean that, now that's my standard. I'm only sleeping with entertainers from now on.
I've said that about women who
I know some women that in Sacramento that Chris Brown has slept with. And it's like, okay, so what do you think that now you are in the same, bracket as a Chris Brown where you only going to be dating?
Well, a lot of women
with...
feel that way when they out here trying to sleep with or out here sleeping with other girls' dudes. Like, that's why they will sit there and brag and be like, well, yo, dude, talk to me. I slept with your dude. Like, that don't make you on my level. That make him down on your level. Like, baby girl, don't get it twisted.
Well, and at the moment, you was a thing. So I think, when we talk about values, yes, what does sex mean to you? Is it sacred? Is it an act? Is it fun? Is it something to just pass the time? Is it something to boost your ego? Is it something to boost... It really does boil down to who you're talking to and what you're doing. And I think the thing
boils down to egos.
Does boil down to egos, and for male and women egos, because you see a woman's ego on display.
It goes down to egos.
And I think that's why a lot of people were like saying a lot of the stuff that she was saying was problematic, because you're out here giving advice when you're trying to figure it out on yourself. And you're having these car confessionals saying, I slept with 3 guys in one day and I ended up getting a yeast infection, where that could have easily, like she said, she was unscathed. That could have easily been something else.
Well,
and
I've been saying
could have easily spread it amongst the 3 men that you were sleeping with in that one day. I've been saying
for years, there's a lot more than you can get than pregnant. I've been saying that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because sometimes it's some stuff you could get, you probably rather have gotten pregnant. Well, like, let's just be real.
There's some things you can get that you cannot get rid of.
Exactly. Like, bro, like, y'all tripping. But I think personally, my issue with all of the hoopla and conversations around body count and I would with the guys is that y'all so worried. Y'all worry more about reputation than actual sexual health. And to me, that's where it becomes, I won't say disingenuous, but it's just kind of don't make no sense to me, because you'll sit up here and drag somebody for how many bodies they got, but you ain't been tested in a decade and don't even have the people that you sleeping with tested and will be sleeping with them unprotected. Like,
yeah, I think those are important issues.
That's crazy.
But when we're talking about,
and you'll be shocked how many men go off of the motto of she look clean versus actually getting tested with their partner. Like, that's what I'm saying. So it's more so about your ego and what other people think. You don't care about no health or none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just about what other people think about the person that I'm dating.
Sure. Do you think that women get tested before they have other sexual partners?
I would hope so.
I'm telling you that's not the case. Ain't the case.
My husband was looking at me crazy when I was talking about shoot, because I literally just got tested recently. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, my thing is like, yeah, I'm married, but at the end of the day, when you go to the doctor, they still, when you go to get your labs done, they be like, we running. Are you okay with us running everything? And they really press you to still do it, because they're like, even though you married, your husband could be doing whatever.
Spouses cheat.
Come on now. So I'm like, they even push you to still get tested when you're married.
Yeah, I think that's a personal thing. I don't think that's a gender thing.
What? Of
what you're worried about. Talking about the sexual health thing.
Well, I believe that's what people should be more worried about.
They should be.
We need to be pushing sexual health over.
Sure. But I think also if you are more promiscuous, that will also lead you with the ability to have poor sexual health. If you're sleeping with 3 people in one day,
yeah,
you that's very risky.
But what I'm saying is men need to realize that, again, like I said, most women understand the double standards, so they date privately. That does not mean they're not being reckless privately. So that's the thing. Like, if you're basing it on reputation, you could still be sleeping with somebody who don't have a reputation, but still nasty. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's fine. I mean, but that's basically saying that somebody could be lying to you. So if I'm asking you, you know, again, and I never really asked a question, but I know there's some men who do. I think it can be asked in a tactful way. Asking for somebody's body
but this
count.
is the thing. They won't even ask. That's the thing. Like if you're more concerned about the reputation, a lot of times they're going off of, she's not a good girl to talk to because she has a reputation. She is because she don't have a reputation.
In some instances, and again, I know there's men that do ask though, meaning not necessarily body count, but how many men have you slept with in the last 6 months? What is your?
I ain't never had nobody ask me that.
Well, if you're in the dating pool, I think that would be an important question. If you slept with 10 men in 6 months, I'm cool.
Well, I'm saying these niggas ain't asking.
Some are, some are not. Some men do want to know the body count. And that's why women be lying. Because they don't want to look like, oh, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that body count can tell other things. So for instance.
So if you ask her the body count and she say 5, that's just the end of the conversation. You good with that?
No, it's not.
Then,
it may not be. It may not be.
What do you mean it may not be the end of the conversation?
In what time span? Over your whole sexual history? Over the last year?
No. I mean, that's like if she said, 5 within or whatever.
5 within what?
I don't know. 5 years? Shit, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Because if it's 5 within the last 6 months, then it could lead to, okay, well, you need to go get tested. When was the last time you got tested?
You should do that anyway. That's what I'm saying.
Stef, I know that. But what I'm telling you is, even if that is the case, somebody might say, I've already gotten tested. Some people are naive and they just trust whatever's said. Some people need to get results.
We know, because niggas be she told me she was on birth control. Like, bro, you stupid as hell.
Yeah, and some women be saying, oh, he told me he was single. Oh, but that nigga was married and had a whole family. It goes both ways. It is
no, that's different, though. That's hella different. Hiding a family versus me saying,